our 20th episode. If you made it to our 20th episode, thank you. Or if you are just jumping in, welcome or welcome back to the Sting of Ours podcast,
where we talk about all of life's highs and lows
and everything in between. So, as you know, if you're not new and you've already subscribed to this channel, which you should be, we missed last Sunday.
Yes, we did. We did.
So our 20-week streak is over. We kind of messed up.
We didn't like how it turned out. The conversation just didn't flow properly. Like it just, I don't know. It just wasn't good content, and we just didn't feel like we wanted to release it. We'd rather just release stuff that you guys actually want to watch rather than release garbage content.
Yeah, and just randomly post because we said we were going to post every Sunday, you know? Like, I actually want to post good stuff. Well, to what we think is good stuff, at least.
Yeah.
You know, so, yeah. That's why we missed last Sunday. But we're back. Happy Sunday. I feel like the week goes by so fast. And the next thing you know, it's Sunday. And then work Monday.
Very true, yeah. No, I know. It kind of flies by. Like, when you're at work, don't get me wrong, days go by slow. But come Friday, you're like, holy shit, it's already Friday.
There's like a saying where it goes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I don't know why. Every single time I think about that, it makes me laugh because it's so true. Like, you really don't notice the time going by, right?
Yeah.
So last week, like we just mentioned, you know, we didn't post, but I feel like we kind of had a lot going on more than like the usual.
On the weekend, yeah, we did. We kind of each had our own thing we needed to do.
So like last week, I had my first spinning class. I wanted to try something different. And, you know, I mentioned that before about how I got a bike and I was biking to work. But I also wanted to get more into like the exercising and, you know, just being healthy overall. So I did join a spinning class. I just tried it out. It was called, the company is here in Ottawa. It's only like, I think 18 kilometers away from where I live. And it's called, I believe it was the Inner Soul Cycling and Yoga, or Yoga and Cycle. I think it's Yoga and Cycle.
Inner Soul, Yoga, and Cycle.
Yes, thank you. That's what the company was called. And I really like the company. It's women owned. And it was really nice. They do like hot yoga there. They do like regular yoga, spinning. And last Saturday there was an event where they did puppy yoga. So it's like, I don't know if you guys ever seen like videos of like little puppies running around you and then as you're trying to do yoga. It was a charity event and it looked really interesting, but I didn't go to it. I just did the spinning that day. But I felt like it took a lot out of me, the spinning, not like the exercising part, like that took a lot out of me too. But I'm talking about like going by myself. Like, you know, here in Ottawa, you know, I've been exploring Ottawa a little bit more, I want to say, by myself. I met two people that I work with and we went out for drinks to a new spot that I've never been to, like in a new area. I think it was downtown Ottawa, but I really haven't explored downtown Ottawa, so I don't really know what was there. So last week, 2 weekends ago, I decided to go with them and we went downtown for some drinks and it was fun. It was nice getting out. And then last weekend, that's when I did my spinning class and I went by myself as well. And I feel like I felt weird because I wasn't with you, you know, and being with you for 6 years, I feel like we've done so much together.
We pretty much do everything together.
Yeah, we do, you know, and it felt weird because when I was with the two girls that I work with, you know, at a restaurant, it felt different to be without you, you know, and not hanging out with you instead of hanging out with them, you know, because like you said, we're always together. Yeah,
like we literally do everything together. We go to just the corner store. We'll go to the gas station. We'll go grocery shopping. Like pretty much anything we do, and we're not actually doing something by ourselves that has to be by ourselves, like work or whatever. We kind of just go together instead of just sitting at home. Yeah. You know, so like we pretty much do everything together. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like it was very different because, even at the time when we did go to the gym, like I felt like when I went to the gym, you were there with me, to go to
Mhm.
the gym. And if the days where you didn't feel like going, I was like, okay, well, I guess I won't go either type of
Mhm.
thing. And it's funny because I was thinking about, my independence before I met you six
Yeah, yeah.
years ago, and before I met Curtis, I would do a lot of things by myself. I would go to the gym, wake up early, go for a run, go to the store, go shopping by myself, and all these things. And then it got me thinking, like, when did I become so used to having you with me,
Yeah.
to do things by myself? I don't know. Do you feel that way? Like, have you felt like we've become one person? Like, we like the same things, we watch the same things, like, same
Yeah.
hobbies. Like, do you feel like we've kind of merged into one person?
I do feel like that kind of like, in a sense, like you just said about the gym,
Mhm.
right? If I didn't go with you, it was like it would feel awkward of you going by yourself. So you were just like, I guess I just won't go today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead of just being like, well, whatever, I'm gonna go today.
Mhm.
Like I wanted to go to the gym, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
But because I didn't go, it almost feels awkward to do stuff by ourselves.
Mhm.
It almost feels like there's something missing, right? So I feel like being in a relationship for this long and doing everything together, it almost does take away from our independence,
Mhm.
right? And doing things alone just feels weird.
It does. Yeah, it does.
There's some good that
Mhm.
comes out of doing things together and having goals together. There is some good that comes from it, right? Because you want to be on the same track for the relationship. Because if you're totally going in separate directions, the relationship's just not going to work,
Yeah.
right? So you have to have some oneness,
Mhm.
but with some independence. So I feel like being too much like codependent on the other person or n- having no individuality, I think that's bad.
Mhm.
But there is some parts of being one that is actually good.
Mhm. When I was doing my spinning class, I'm going to insert a little video of me doing spinning. Might be a little bit too dark, but it was very dark in the room, but it was cool because they had like little neon lights and stuff in there. So that was like a really fun time. I even went to the mall and I bought a cute little outfit. I don't know. I wanted to, feel cute while I
Yeah.
was sweating. I feel like I've been so dependent on
Mhm.
having someone with me. I don't want to say like I'm too dependent on you, but I almost feel like I lost myself, in this relationship. Just with the things that I've always enjoyed doing by myself, I no longer kind of want to do it.
Yeah, I feel like kind of what you're trying to say is it's not the same as it was before because now you've done like you still do some of those things,
Hmm.
but it feels awkward and it feels weird to do it alone now,
Yeah.
right? Whereas before you could do it alone and it was just the way it was. Like that was just normal, right? And it
Because
was
even when we got together, I had a hard time including you into my plans. I'd
yeah.
be like, yeah, I'm going for a run. And you'd be like, can I come? I'd be like, sure, if you want to. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was hard to include you. And then now it's like, it's hard not to include you.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone else has felt this way. But even when it comes to friends, I've noticed that, like, I'd rather hang out with you, kind of, than rather, getting together with, some of the new friends that I've met.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather hang out with you and go to these different places, explore more with you than hang out with them.
Do you
It's,
think do you think it's because you feel more comfortable around me than you do new people that you just met?
yeah.
If you've known them your whole life or for
Mhm.
years like you've known me now, maybe it wouldn't feel like maybe you would actually enjoy going with them
Mm.
just as much as going with me.
Yeah,
You know
I
what I
think
mean?
so.
But because you feel so comfortable, and we mentioned that in another podcast, just like being real and being our authentic selves about like around each other. And if you haven't seen that episode, we'll put a preview right here.
Of what you missed. Have to add my part in.
Yeah. It's where you have to present yourself a certain way,
Yeah.
and you can't because you risk getting fired. You risk um, Like even if you don't get fired, your boss is just going to make your life a living hell basically for however long he chooses because you said something he didn't like. That was just a sneak peek of kind of being ourselves around each other. And, you know, I feel like we are able to be ourselves around each other. And that's why doing things together is kind of what we've leaned towards because, it's just, it feels natural. It feels fun. Like, it's nice to have someone around that you can just be yourself with.
Yeah. And then also, like, I look at you as my best friend, right?
Mhm.
So being around you, it's not hard.
Yeah.
Like there are some people who, when they're around their spouse, like it's like, you kind of want breathing room or things like that. I don't feel that way. Maybe you do, but I actually don't feel that way.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, what do you think about how I mentioned when I said like we've lost ourselves and we almost merged into one person? Because there's that saying, right? Like when you get married, two become one.
Mhm.
So like, how do you feel about that? Like, do you think that we've lost each other and kind of like just enjoy doing the same hobbies?
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, it's a little bit different because growing up, like I've always pretty much had someone around me.
Mm.
Like I would wake up in the morning and I'd message people, like if I wasn't working or whatever, if it was the weekend, I would message people, hey, what are you doing today? And I'd go hang out with people for the day.
Mm.
I very, very rarely stayed by myself. So I feel like for me, it's kind of the same.
Mm.
It's just now I only hang out with you
Oh,
for the most part. But I do feel, in a sense, that there are some things that I used to do by myself that now I don't really do anymore. Like, and I've kind of changed my hobbies. I don't know if that's just because I got older and now some of the things I used to do, I just kind of grew out of. I don't know if that's it, but I do feel like there are some things that I could potentially do by myself that I don't anymore.
Is it because you choose not to do it by yourself? Because it might be a little bit more fun if you include me.
That probably is it. Yeah, like now that I do have you around, right? Like, what's the point of doing it by myself?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I do want to. When I was younger, I used to take like little boxing classes here and there. I never actually went into like competitions or anything like that, but I did boxing training, so I would like to do something like that again. But I don't feel like doing it by myself would really be fun. Like I'd want you there,
Yeah.
if you want to do it, and if you don't, then I don't know if I'll ever actually do it. You know what I mean?
Like you need another person to be like, yeah, let's do it. Okay, sure, let's have fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like
You
I
need
have
motivation.
lost a little bit of my independence in a sense of if I wanted to do something, I should just go do it, right? Whether you want to or not. But I feel like if you don't go with me, I just probably will keep pushing it aside and never actually do it, which is wrong. Like it really is, in a sense that like I want to better myself in certain aspects and just keep a little bit of my independence. I don't know.
Yeah, because like every year, I'm sure a lot of people do this. We write our New Year's resolution, and you write yours, and then I write mine, and our New Year's resolutions are totally opposite most of the time, right? I think our financials are more aligned with each other, but this year I said I wanted to read 4 books. Every quarter of the year. In the year I wanted to read 4 books. And so far I'm on my 3rd book. I'm reading Ashley Flowers' book. She is one of the co-hosts on Crime Junkie, and so far it's amazing. I absolutely love it. I started reading on Audible, and I remember you read a lot before you met me. You were always having your nose in a book.
Yep.
And you were always reading something. And now even at nighttime you were always reading something before you fall asleep. And now I notice that you don't do that as much anymore, right? Like, so now you just turn off the light or you just go on your computer and then you fall asleep. Like I feel like some of the hobbies that we've had, we've kind of just drifted and was like, okay, well, you're not into this. I'm not into this either.
Yeah.
But getting into writing down the goals, I think, has helped me keep my independence so far. Like I said, I wanted to ride bikes this year,
Yeah.
join an exercising class, read books, and do different things. So I think I've managed to gain my independence from you by keeping my New Year's resolution separate from what you wanted.
Yeah.
I look forward every day to coming home, staying home. All my things are here. I don't think I'm an extrovert at all. Like I feel like you are, like from what you've just said about how, you message people to hang out, like, hey, what are you doing today? Let's go outside. I don't feel like I've done that. I don't think I do that. I'm more of a wake up type of person and I'll stay home, do my own thing, clean, watch Netflix or something. But I don't think I think I'm a real introvert.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you feel like I've stopped you from being an extrovert? Because I honestly, when we've gotten together, I noticed that you were always finding different places to go to. You wanted to take me to explore Sudbury a little bit more, and it took me a lot to get out of my shell to go around town.
Yeah. We
But
had to
now,
reschedule a few times.
yeah, because your girl can cancel plans. It's okay. I cancel plans.
Yes.
But yeah, do you feel like I may have changed you into an introvert rather
See,
than being an extrovert?
I feel like introvert and extrovert are kind of like a confusing like definition,
Mhm.
because I'm definitely not like outgoing in a sense of like loud and like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's not me. I'm calm, but yes, I do like to explore. I do like to be around people, but in another sense, like once I'm around people for too long and too many people,
Mhm.
it's draining. So I feel like really and truly I am an introvert at
Mhm.
heart. I do like to be just around one or two people that I feel comfortable with, but not like a ton of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel like I am. I don't know. I just feel like I don't do very much alone anymore. But I mean, last weekend I did start thinking about trading in my car. So after I dropped her off at her spinning class, I went over to the dealership just to see like what the trade-in value, things like that would be, and looking into getting a new vehicle.
Mhm.
I mean, my vehicle is still very new, but I just know that the used car values are like ridiculously overpriced right now, which kind of plays into my favor. So that's why I'm even looking into it.
Used cars are more expensive than new cars right now?
Yeah. The guy at the dealership, he was showing me one
Mhm.
that was priced in for 55,000 if you're getting a new one, but you have to wait roughly 6 months to get it.
Mhm.
Or you can buy the used one that's sitting there in the lot, a couple of years old, 2 years old, for 64,000. Basically, he was saying that the car that is in the lot that's available right now, even though it's a few years old, is $9,000 more than buying a brand new one and having to wait for it.
Wow, that shit's crazy.
It is. It actually is crazy, but that is how supply and demand works.
Mhm.
If people want it, people need it, they're going to pay more for it.
Are you still thinking about trading in your car?
I mean, I am. I do have it up, and there are people interested.
Like, is that the dealership who determines like who will get the car, or?
Well, in a sense, yes, because they're going to have to probably get finance for it,
Mm.
right? Um, but yeah, in the end, yes, I guess it is kind of their decision. But if they all qualify, then they can all kind of bid on it
Mhm.
in a sense.
I could have sworn that I seen somewhere online that said that there was way too many cars. You're trying to tell me all these cars all of a sudden disappeared and people are driving all these cars.
I do remember hearing that years ago too. That they were manufacturing way too many cars and they were
Mhm.
just sitting in empty lots.
So
Well,
what? COVID helped and made everyone be like, all right, let's get new cars and scrap our old ones.
apparently, but it's not only that, like the manufacturers, they all shut down like
Oh yeah.
globally, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a whole year of no production,
Mm-hmm.
that makes a big dent in their supply, right? So and that's where they are. They're trying to play catch up and they can't produce them fast enough, basically.
Yeah, last weekend we met up and then we went to the mall, right?
Mhm.
And we went to Tanger Outlets, which was just like a bunch of outlets. I think they're all like an outlet. Is that just like the strip mall kind of, or outlets more like the ones that are discounted?
Yeah, outlets are like discount stores.
Okay.
It's all like old stock
Mm-hmm.
that they're not currently selling in the stores like right now, like the stores that you would go to a mall at. It's all like their old their old stock that they're trying to still get rid of at a discounted price.
Oh, okay.
So here in Ottawa, they have like a whole outlet, but it's actually really cool because it's outside.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's almost like going to a strip mall, but it's not because
The mall's outside, kind of.
yeah, like it looks almost exactly like a mall where you're walking down like an aisle
Mm-hmm.
and stores on each side, but you're still outside.
Yeah, they did it really pretty as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like nice flowers sitting out and benches that you can sit on
Yeah.
and things like that. We can bring our dog. Also, it's very dog friendly
They have
there.
a cafeteria as well.
Yeah, you can eat outside or eat inside.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the setup of it. I like that it's dog friendly as well
Yeah.
because we did bring our dog with us. But yeah, that's kind of like what we did last weekend.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to get comfortable. Oh man. Okay. Trying to get comfortable here. All right. Jumping back to the codependence. Is that like what it means is when I'm too dependent on somebody else? Or when we're too dependent in general?
I believe it kind of means like you rely on someone else for your happiness, but let's let Google give us a definition.
Yeah. Sound like you know what you're talking about.
Sometimes I do, but Google knows more. So codependent is characterized by excessive emotional or physiological reliance on a partner, typically one who requires support on account of an illness or addiction. Yeah, so another definition says people in codependent relationships tend to have a problem where one person doesn't recognize boundaries and the other person doesn't insist on boundaries. Thus, one person is controlling and manipulative, and the other person is compliant and fails to assert his or her own will. Who do you guys think is who?
Even though I don't really want to agree, that's kind of like what we are. I just feel like, as best friends, we do like to hang out with each other, like, I don't feel like I get annoyed of you or anything like that. But I do realize that I do replace the I with we a lot, like I'm like, oh, let's go here. Instead of saying I'm going to go do something, I usually say like we. I mean, sometimes you say like, oh, are we going to go to the grocery store instead of like you going to the by yourself, right? So a part of like me, like a lot of this was going through my head last weekend, and I actually kind of wanted to talk about this last week, but we didn't really like the way the podcast came out, like we mentioned earlier, and things like that. But I feel like a part of us saying we, I noticed that I don't really do the same self-care that I used to. So I feel like, I'm trying to get back into doing a routine like that. I feel like that's where I really lost myself.
You think less about yourself now. You think more about Trumpet and then us as a whole.
Yeah.
So like us more as just a family rather than just you by yourself. You don't really think of your needs anymore. You think of all of our needs.
Yeah. And I remember when I was younger, right? And getting into a relationship, the relationship's fresh. You want to be around this person all the time and, see them all the time, hang out with them. And it's funny because I think I've always been like that, like once I get into a relationship, I concentrate so much on how can I make this relationship work? How can I make this person so happy, And I concentrate so much on trying to please them instead of remembering that, don't wait for this person to call you because they're busy doing their own thing while your life is passing by. You're just waiting around, waiting for them to create free time for you, But if you stay busy, you have something to do, distract you. And that's what I started doing. I just started finding new things, creating new hobbies, and taking on new projects to make my make me feel like Amelia again, you know?
Yeah. So at one point, basically, what you're saying is you didn't do things by yourself. You always waited for other people to be with you, and you had to start actually putting yourself out there by yourself
Yeah.
and doing things and
Mm.
start getting comfortable doing things. And you've kind of lost that again,
Mm.
and basically need to get back into that routine, because I feel like a routine is actually fairly important. There's two sides of routines, but having a routine and structure in your life and just planning things, I feel like that's very important, or else you kind of do get lost in life. Because like earlier, I was mentioning how like I used to play sports when I was younger. I
Mm.
used to have kind of a routine where I'd wake up in the morning, I'd exercise a little bit, and then I'd start my day. Like I don't do that anymore, and I feel like I've kind of lost myself a little bit, and I'm not staying true to myself and what used to make me happy at one point. Like, yes, being with you still makes me happy and spending time with you makes me happy, but I feel like I could be doing more
Mm.
for myself, of things that I've kind of let just fade away in my life. Um, yeah, I just feel like if I did find little hobbies and a routine, even if it was just like once a week, um, going out. Like I
Mm.
know some people that I work with, like they're in little sports leagues and they do different things. They play softball, they play in a hockey league. So they have little things that they go do, right? And I feel like if I did have something like that to just for myself, I feel like it would take away from the mundaneness of kind of just life, like just going through the motions of waking up in the morning, getting ready, going to work,
Coming home.
coming home, taking trumpet out, sitting down,
Yeah.
going to bed,
Yeah,
doing it all over.
you would feel like you are experiencing life,
Yeah,
I guess. I guess that's the right way to say it. I don't know.
yeah. I don't know. I just feel like having things to do in life, it it's actually very important because life does go quick,
Mm.
and staying true to what makes you happy and exploring and just enjoying life, I feel like it's very important because, like I said, it does go by very quickly.
So do you feel like you're almost compromising then yourself when, because you know that if I'm not interested in doing certain hobbies with you, you're like, okay, well, I'm not gonna take a boxing class like you mentioned earlier.
Mhm.
So do you feel like you're compromising half the time because you're
Yeah.
afraid almost to do it by yourself now, knowing that we've done a lot of things together, like we took in road trips
Mhm.
and we did different like crazy activities together, like.
Yeah. No, it would feel weird doing it by myself. And that's kind of what I mentioned earlier. I just keep putting it off and saying, like, it's not that big of a deal. And I
Mm.
kind of do compromise, like, in a sense of I just think it's not that important to like to my sanity or whatever, right? That I just don't ever actually do it.
Mhm.
But I feel like if I did, it would feel awkward at first, like you were saying earlier. It would feel awkward at first, but you do obviously you'll get into the habit and you'll get used to doing things alone.
Mhm.
And it won't feel awkward anymore, and you'll actually start enjoying it
Yeah.
after the first little bit.
So let us know if you or you know someone that is in a codependent relationship, or you feel like you've gotten lost in a relationship yourself, and kind of like we know what you did to get out of it.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely let us know in the comments below because you know this podcast is only one part of the conversation. We do like to hear what you guys have to say and learn a little bit of your experiences
mhm.
and things like that, and other people can learn from you as well,
Yeah,
right?
because the
So
conversation doesn't stop here. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, like this video. You can share this video if you want,
mhm,
and we will see you guys next Sunday. So have a good week and happy Sunday.
peace.
Peace.
Like sometimes you will say how you feel and you don't mean it in a rude way at all, but I guess maybe if you're saying it to the wrong person that's been told this before
Mhm.
in rude ways, that's just how they're going to take it.